Welcome to Intercontinental Toastmasters. Everyone, please turn on your cameras. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster. Lena, it's all you.
Thank you, Abhijit, and welcome everyone to our today's meeting. I would say even good evening, good morning, wherever you are. You are welcome to Intercontinental Toastmasters meeting. And today's theme is Science of Storytelling. As we all know that in Toastmaster we practice our public speaking skills, and to engage audience, storytelling is essential skill. It creates creation and stories stick in our mind. So it helps us to perceive the audience. So let's practice today our storytelling skills. On that note, I would like to give some overall structure of our meeting. Our meeting is divided into three sections. First section is prepare speeches, and we have three speeches in line. After prepared speeches, there will be impromptu speaking, that is table topic section, where table topic master will give us the topic to talk about for 1 to 2 minutes. And next is our evaluation section. Uh, to introduce functionary role, let me call our first functionary timer, that is Hariram. Hariram, yeah. Can you introduce your role, or it is your first time?
No, I've been a timer before, so sure. So,
Yeah,
hi
okay.
everyone. I'll be the timer today, and so I forgot the rules. I actually have it written down here, so I can read it from.
Okay, no problem. So first speaker is giving his icebreaker speech. So his timing will be 4 to 6 minutes, and remaining two speeches will be 5 to 7 minutes. Right? Evaluation will be for 2 to 3 minutes, and for table topic it will be 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah, you have to show your cards.
Okay, I have
Green,
a virtual
yellow, and red.
timer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So are you clear on this role, or do you want
Yes.
any more
So
information? Cool.
for speeches, it will be
Next.
5 for green, yellow 6, and red 7. Table topics is 1, 1:30, and 2. And for
Yes.
evaluation, it will be 2, 2:30, and 3.
Yes. For first speech, it is icebreaker speech. So it will be 4 minutes green, 5 will be yellow, and 6 minutes will be red. Okay.
Okay, so the first speech is going to be icebreaker. Okay.
Yes. Next is our grammarian. Our grammarian is Anne Mary. Over to you, Anne Mary.
Yes, I'm back as a grammarian. It's been a while, and my job is to monitor the use of the English language. We are so driven to perform that we sometimes forget the devil is in the detail, the grammar. And tonight, I am going to be looking at word usage, misuse, pronunciations. I also want to commend use of creative language. And the word of the day is we're going to embrace storytelling. So, embracing, covering everything, being comprehensive in our storytelling. And I will be encouraging you to use the word embrace, embracing in every single sentence. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anne Mary. I will try to embrace this new word in my vocabulary. Next, our counter is Mukul. Is Mukul here? I don't see. Okay.
It's
Okay,
me.
Ajay. Ajay. Cool.
Yeah.
Can you please explain your role?
Sure. Hi, Toastmasters. This is Ajay. I'm joining the club for the first time. And today, as a role bearer, it's my responsibility to take on the R counter role. As an R counter, I will try to note down all the crutch words, and all the pauses, filters, which are used by anyone who speaks during the meeting. And also, I will note down some of the overused words such as and, well, so, you know, and I will listen for these words, and towards the end of the meeting, I'll provide a detailed report on how each of the speaker misused these words. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Ajay. So today we have lots of guests. So I would like to welcome all our guests, and I hope that you would enjoy today's meeting. Let's move to our first section, that is prepare speeches section. And our first speaker is Hayu. Hayu's evaluator is Vivek. Vivek, will you please introduce Hayu?
You?
Yes, hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I'm not there in person today to embrace you in a welcome, but I will still give your introduction. You're giving your presentation mastery project speech, the initial speech, the icebreaker speech, from solo runner to team player, reconnecting the world with the world.
Yes.
Over to you, Hayu.
Thank you. When I was a child, I loved spending time with my friends. Playing and talking with my friends was always the happiest time. However, in my teenage years, my mother struggled in her relationship with my father, with some family members, and with her colleagues in her workplace. And I become the natural recipient of her emotional outlet. I remember I spent a good amount of time in my teenage years listening to her complaint and disappointment towards people. People are selfish, relationships are volatile, people only serve the best interests of themselves, and their relationship with you are just their tools to use you. Over the 10 years, I was shadowing her complaint and negative attitude towards people. And gradually, without notice, my trust towards people started to fade away. I started distance my friends and classmates in school, and the breaking point was in the senior year in my high school. In high school, I was famous for my track and field skills, and especially I was the top 2 runners in 3,000 meter. In the spring track and field tournament, which is a whole school event, I will face my major competitor in the final race. 1 hour before the race started, while I was chatting with my major competitor, I noticed that he couldn't stop coughing. That was the common syndrome from our extensive training in the cold winter mornings under temperature of minus 20 degrees C. I handed him my throat pill, which helped calm my throat, and he was grateful. After the race started, I followed him closely, and as expected, the 2 of us left most of the runners behind. I was strategically saving my stamina, planning to pass him right before the finish line in the final sprint. In the last 100 meters, I burst into acceleration, and he did too once he noticed that I was approaching from behind. Nevertheless, the gap between us kept shrinking, and I was about to pass him. I switched from lane 1 to lane 2 to pass him, and he switched to lane 2 as well, and he blocked me with his body. And then I switched from lane 2 to lane 3 to break away, and he switched lane 3 as well, and he used his elbows to hit my stomach. And before I further away to break away from him, we passed the finish line, and I passed the line after him. I trained so hard for this final race, but I didn't lose this way. I didn't expect to lose this way. His behavior was not only non-ethical, but also broke the rule. But he got away with it. They declared him the winner. Somehow, no one in the school criticized him. I felt betrayed by the entire school, which back then was the majority of my world. I wouldn't say that I was betrayed by my major competitor, but I don't know why handing him my throat pill make it so much painful for me. I felt stupid, I felt shameful. I felt angry. And that was it. That incident, after years of conscious and unconscious programming from my mother, was the launch button for me to start my self-isolation. From then on, I no longer trusted anyone, and defense became my baseline attitudes towards people. I become more and more introvert, and I spend more and more time alone. Consequently, I become more socially awkward, which in turn kept me away from social events. And as you can see, that's a straight downhill. Not long before I cut most of my connections, I was depressed. Those were the darkest days of my life, and I had to seek for help. Luckily, the counselors and therapists were able to help me identify the source of my social phobia and help me establish the new and healthy beliefs towards people and their relationships. During the hardest experience of my depression days, I realized that humans were born to connect, not to isolate. And here I am, joining the Toastmaster, giving my icebreaker speech as my first step, coming back to the community to share, to connect, to grow together, and to be embracive with people. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayu. Everybody, you can send your feedback to Hayu directly on the chat. Our second speaker is Federica, and Federica's evaluator is Khushbu. Over to you, Khushbu.
Thank you, Master of the Day. My esteemed speaker, Federica, is attempting her level 4 from Pathways Motivational Strategies. The purpose is to motivate others. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech. The transformative power of motivation. Toastmaster Federica.
Thank you, my evaluator. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. If you get out all there is in Toastmasters, you will not get out of Toastmasters. And these are the words of Helen Blanchard. And today I'm here to speak to you about the transformative power of motivation. And it is just a project that is very close to my heart, that of recruitment of new members. We had a meeting, executive meeting, and that executive meeting, the treasurer said, we need an open house. I said to him, if we need an open house, then you have to be the team lead. I knew straight he wasn't ready for that project. As simple as it sounds, it is going to take him some time to execute. And as Vice President Education of Nature Island Toastmasters Club, I wanted the success of this project. What I did, I took it over. Remember, what we are here to do today is how to motivate others. And I was there to motivate Toastmaster Anthony. What skills should I bring to that table to assist him? I think he needed everything. He needed me to motivate him around every skill that he was supposed to use. And still to encourage him to continue with that project and not drop out. And therefore, I taught him how to communicate with his team, how to maintain a positive attitude, how to go around his goal setting and his whole plan, which he had only 1 month to execute. And I know time can be against him due to his studies. How to solve problems and how to resolve conflicts. And these are the things I had to spend a little time with, but they were not important as what he was supposed to do to get that job done. And therefore, the first thing we did was to make a list. a list of the requirements for the success of this project. At the beginning, we decided we were going to have a team of 4. The president, vice president education, vice president membership, and the treasurer himself, Toastmaster Anthony. As team lead, I had to ensure for the first week that Anthony had his checklist in order. Call him at mornings, give him some motivating talk, have a little just 5-minute session with him, and he was good to go. The energy level was there. That was in the first week. In the second week, Anthony, have you done that? No. I have to go back to the same process. How to communicate with his team, how to delegate, how to give them the job or the task he wants done. I have a lot of work. I will check that later. I said, Anthony, the time is approaching. We need to have that flyer out. So you need to speak with the VPM. So it took a lot of pulling and tugging to get it done. Sorry, 1 minute. Thank you. Sorry about that. It took a lot of pulling and tugging to get that done. But after that, he was up to speed. In the last week, there was so much I had to do. Remind him, the snacks, the room, the checks to pay for them. But in motivating others and in motivating him, I realized a lot of team members really need that encouragement and that motivation as they go along. Thinking of that project, a project of recruitment of new members, I had to embrace the opportunity to get on board with him. Why? For the success of that club. Why should I just watch him smile and not get in and get serious sometimes? Because if I give him a chance, he will smile all day and the project will never get done. But lo and behold, he understood the seriousness of that project and he started making strides towards the end of the week. That was a great project because I made him to understand that he has to let the people know the benefits, and he has to remember too the benefits he got by being in Toastmasters. The invitations, the individual calls he had to make. And as you call, you let them know what's in store for them. It was a great project. Remember, the president and the vice president membership were the ones doing that 360. And they had to rate us on that leadership of that project. I was so elated. At the end of that meeting that night, we got 14 new prospects. Fellow Toastmasters, it's all well and good to get the prospects, but what do we do after the prospects? It is a story, and it's for all of us. To date, it's past a month, and the prospects have not been added to a prospective members list. But Toastmaster Anthony will never forget the experience he went through to get that project to where it was and how satisfied everybody was with it. In conclusion, fellow Toastmasters and guests, everybody needs somebody sometimes. Motivating others is real. Let us motivate the people that need us to motivate them. But we have to remember too, in motivating, they have to be willing to accept. So let us go out there. It's a mission. Ask others to join or to renew. Motivate the others that decide they are dropping off. We do need members to retain their membership. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Federica, for this motivational speech. And everybody, please give your feedback directly to Federica in chat. Next, we have our third speaker, Rishikesh. And Rishikesh evaluator is Hayu. Hayu?
Camille.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today I've been recruited and I have the opportunity to evaluate. Today, Harishikesh, is that right? Close enough, I guess. We'll be doing Dynamic Leadership Level 3 Connect with Storytelling. And the title of his speech is Keep Going Even If You Don't Want to. Back to you.
Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guest, life journey is full of surprises. Not every day is same as another. Some days are full of joy and some are full of sorrow. If you get a chance to retrospect on your life, you will smile at the moments which brought tears in your eyes, and you will cry at the moments which made you laugh. It was year May 2022. It was best period of my life. We booked new flat in Pune. We were slowly getting accustomed to new premise. I was enjoying new challenges of working in physical at my workplace. In Toastmasters, I took new role as a VP Education. Apart from managing the club meetings, I was also participating in different contests in different clubs as a role player. One day, my wife shared a good news with me that we are expecting our second child. On May 20th, we celebrated 4th birthday of our son. And next week, we were planning or preparing for wedding of my best friend. Everyone in our family was happy and joyful. Suddenly, on the day of wedding, a bad news reached our home. My father met with accident. I cancelled all my plans and reached my hometown. Next few months spent in visiting hospital, discussing with doctors, lot of traveling to my hometown and praying to God for quick and smooth recovery of my father's health. But God had different plans. In September, he called my father close to him. I was shattered and thinking of giving up on my life. But I had to continue. In October, we are blessed with a baby girl. Looking at her, I got motivation to continue my journey, keeping the loss of my father in my heart. God took my father, but gave me daughter. Keep walking, even if your loved ones are not with you. Moving fast forward to the December 2023, my company decided to cut short the existing workforce in the project. They didn't announce it, but it was visible from their action that they are not intending us to continue on our work. I started looking for new opportunities with no luck whatsoever. With pressure mounting in existing job, I was under depression that what will happen about the future. I increased my efforts of finding new job. In spite of lot of rounds in the interviews, I was getting rejected at the final round. For some rounds, HR frees the final position that they are not wanting to hire anyone. Day by day, my hope of finding new jobs were fading. One day, I received a call from unknown person that we are having a job drive. In drive, I saw a lot of candidates appearing for that particular job. I thought maybe this is the last chance for which I can appear for. I decided to give a try. I appeared for first round, I cleared it. I appeared for second round, I cleared it. After second round, HR called me. We are pleased with your candidature and we will be having a next round, next HR and final round with you in next week. Next week, HR round was conducted and I got offer. I immediately resigned from my existing job and now I have joined a new organization from last week. Dear Toastmasters, keep walking when someone is not believing in your capabilities. There is definitely another door open for you. I joined Toastmasters in 2021 and immediately in the first week, I decided to contest for the position of club treasurer. I prepared with best of my abilities, still I lost the election. I was heartbroken that my first attempt went in vain. But my mentor motivated me to keep continue my journey. Believing in his words, I continued my journey. And after roughly 3 years, here I am delivering my speech in front of all of you. Dear Toastmasters, guests, and members, right now we are at membership count of 13 and we have target to achieve a 20 members goal. We can't discontinue. We need to walk and continue our efforts. Are you ready to keep walking, Madam Toastmaster?
Thank you, Rishikesh, for this inspirational message. After these three beautiful, inspiring, motivational stories, we are going to listen from our guests and also Toastmasters. All members can participate in our table topic section and share their stories with us. If you want to share your feedback on Rishikesh's speech, please message him in private in the chat. Now let's move to our next section, that is table topic section. And our table topic master for today is Vishal. Vishal, mic is yours.
Thank you, Leena. We all have a lot of memories and experiences in our life. In fact, right this moment, we are experiencing something. But if you ask me to come up with a topic to speak, I struggle like crazy. I don't know about you, but it's really hard for me. But what if I told you that there's an easy way to come up with a topic? So today we are going to go away from the usual table topics where I ask you questions, but we are going to delve into your memories and your experiences. And I'm going to share a technique for you to come up with topics to speak. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Second. Yeah.
You can see.
Yeah. So the game is called First, Last, Best, and Worst. We all remember things because it's the first time we did something, the last time we did something, or the best or the worst experience. So I'm gonna limit it to 4 topics, 4 themes: relationship, job, holiday or vacation, and meal. When I call you, you have to choose one of these themes and talk us through what is either your first, last, best, or worst. For example, first job for me, the title would be Freedom Finally Arrives, and then give a speech. So pick a topic, a 3 to 4 word title, and up to 2 minutes you can speak. We are going to start with Camille. I'm expecting a humorous speech from you.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Can you hear me? Because my thing's not lit up on my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great.
Yep.
I'll go with my first. My first job was a breakfast cook at a small Christian college. And I wasn't that great of a Christian at that time. I was kind of like drinking in the back and stuff like that. And I had to get up real early and cook all kinds of food that I wasn't even familiar with. It was in Illinois, a little small town called Oregon, Illinois, where I was the only person that looked like me. So that wasn't that wasn't the best experience. They had something called toad in the hole. Separate, it wasn't like the bread with the egg, and it was like this corned beef hash thing in a muffin pan, and they put the egg inside of it. I never heard of anything like that. I'm used to eating cornbread and collard greens and stuff like that. All this other toad in the hole. Who actually wants to eat a toad anyway? At any rate, the lady that I worked with had a baby, and I wasn't smart enough then, because I was only 19, to not tell her that her baby was ugly. She was one of the ugliest babies I ever seen in my life, and I said, "Your baby's ugly," but maybe the girl to be very good looking. I learned that day to never tell a mother that her baby is ugly. Even if the baby's ugly, just make it up. Find something else. Say the nose is cute. I don't know. Say something. So that was my first experience being a breakfast cook. I still would like to be a chef, even though I'm not a chef. I actually work in collections. So if you ever hear my voice, hang up right away. And that's the end of me embracing my very first time as being a cook. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Wow, Abhijit was right. You are very funny. Next, we go to Jim. And I can share my screen again if you want the topics.
Okay.
Relationship, job, holiday, or meal.
Okay. I will go with my first job. It was in, I was 28 years old, a couple of years after graduating college, and it was with the Attorney General's office in New York City. And it was as a paralegal. So I loved it because I loved going into New York City and being part of all the energy and just being in that kind of an atmosphere. It really was very inspirational for me at that point to be part of it. The job itself was, well, it was more like customer service, where I would handle phone inquiries from people who had complaints about certain things, like they were being discriminated against on the job, or things of that nature. It was, I would say it was a good job, but it was only an entree into what lay ahead, because that job, it lasted only about a year and a half, but it really was a springboard to what I'm doing now, which is more in line with my skill set. It allows me to use my skills as a writer, my speaking skills, which Toastmasters has only enhanced, and just being able to assist in training my colleagues, using all of my skills that most paralegals don't get to use in most job situations. So I have found it to be very, just a very important time in my life, and I appreciate the opportunity to share it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. Next, we go to Andrew.
Thank you, Tabletop Master. This is my second meeting with your group. I'm very appreciative to be here. I saw the list, and I love to review and talk about food. So I will choose to talk about the best sandwich. Figuring out something that is actually the best is a very tricky undertaking. You have to look at more than just the thing. You have to look at the environment that the thing lives in. I was recently on a trip with my wife to Vietnam, and I was on the lookout for the best banh mi cart in Vietnam. And I went to many of them, things with famous celebrities, Barack Obama on the wall, and none of them were truly exceptional until we came across a lady who was hiding from the police on a corner. And her skills were obviously exceptional and set her apart from everyone else. She created fresh ingredients from scratch, whipped her own mayonnaise, made her own pate, and had glistening green cucumbers that she was going to put into the sandwich. Instead of a toaster, she had a concrete round circular object just on the sidewalk filled with hot coals where she would set a piece of bread. And we talked with her about her history doing sandwich making on the street corner. And she had been at this for 37 years. So she had experience. She had speed. The whole undertaking took just a minute. You couldn't beat her price. It was $1. No one can beat that. And the freshness of her ingredients, the flavor, everything came together to create just an exceptional experience that if you try to think, what does make something the best? Is it speed? Is it quality? Is it story? Is it the flavor? You need more than just a good bite. You need the whole thing all together to truly become the best. So this is my story of the best meal. Thank you. Back to you, Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Andrew. I also agree. Like, I find it difficult to justify fine dining. I've always loved street food more than fine dining, and I agree with you. Next, we go to Lipping.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I'll pick a meal, but not a meal. It's related to meal, and my title is the most embarrassing but funny moment at a meal. And it's kind of like I'm trying to making the funny moment to make display the funny moment about myself. Previously, I wouldn't do this. Right now, I'm brave enough to do this. So let me share my story. And I want to have a lunch with my friend, a relatively new friend, because he had sent me lots of like a warm-hearted message regards words to me during my difficult times. I feel I owe him something. So when we got there, when we came to order the food, after ordering the food, and I said, let me take the bill. It's on me. It's my treat. I wanted to do this for you. But I pull my credit card out and I saw the screen of the register, which showing, how much money. And then I said, let me pay it. I insisted. Then I just stopped there. I don't know what happened. And I just keep saying, let me do it. Then my hand holding the card right here. And I couldn't find where I need to pay. Then I couldn't recall how long it lasts, but right now, if I recall, it probably lasts, it seems like so long because I got lost. If you were a bystander at that moment, what you see is a scene, a lady holding the car saying, let me pay it, but she just hold it there without paying. Actually, the paying machine is just right next to the register machine. So that's how embarrassing I was, how funny it is. What hypocrite am I? And finally, I thought it's just, I don't know, I got nervous. The first time I met him for a lunch, I got nervous or something from my mental status blocked me. At that moment, everything went blank. So I couldn't see the paying machine. That's how I ended up. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Liping. Next, I'll call Kushbu. Kushbu, you're muted. All right, we can come back to Kushbu. Lena?
Okay. Can you please show me that?
Yes. 1 second.
Okay. Holiday. I would like to choose the worst holiday. It's not actually the complete holiday, it's just a trip. And story, the title of the speech can be Well Watching, Never Again. It was few years ago when we moved to California. We heard that whale watching is a really good experience, and I have seen many pictures of tail of the whale, and I was curious to see how that giant creature look like in real world, and I want to see it in the whale in action. So we planned and we booked a ticket for whale watching in Monterey. In the morning, we started early in the morning from here, and we couldn't do our breakfast. So without breakfast, we went there in Monterey, and our friends were already on the boat. We got late to join them. So we rushed there and with empty stomach, and we started our journey, 4 hours of a whale watching trip in Pacific Ocean. And we were very excited. We go on up deck and started looking for whale. Can we see the whale and how it is, and etc. etc. Soon after half an hour, we started feeling nauseous, and the rest of the trip was not a good story to tell. It was continuous vomiting. Me, my husband, and my son, 3 of us were puking all the time. We couldn't raise our head up. Whenever we try to look up, we feel dizzy. We go downstairs and keep our head like this on the deck. We did not enjoy that trip at all. And we swear that we will never ever again go to the sea or whale watching. We went next time when we went to Hawaii. That time was a whale season there, but we consciously choose sea facing condo so that we can see whales in action by sitting in our balcony. We will not go in the sea. So that was a really bad experience which stuck with 3 of us. We are so traumatized that we don't want to go on cruise as well. I want to see Alaska, but my husband strictly said that I'm not going to go by cruise to Alaska. So I'm hoping that I could convince him to fly to Alaska and see the beauty there. Over to you, table topic master.
Wow, all 3 of you cooking at the same time. That must have been terrible. Okay, next we can go to Jen.
Yes, I will talk about, I was on vacation visiting my children in the Pacific Northwest, and my youngest daughter called me and invited me to go snowshoeing. And I was so excited. I thought it's something I would really like to do and try, and here was this opportunity being presented to me. So I agreed to go snowshoeing. It was supposed to be a flat surface, only about a mile. And when we got there, it was raining, no snow. So they said, if we go higher up on Mount Hood, we'll find snow. And we did. It was snowing. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And it was so quiet, even though there were so many people on the trail. And it was wonderful for the first hour. And then it started to go downhill. And I started to get tired. And we ran into friends of my daughter, and they said, oh, the exit's right around the corner. Okay, I can do this. And we get to the corner, up to the next exit. That's not an exit. Oh, okay. They pass us and they said, oh, we're so sorry. It's actually the next one. And we get to the next one. But before we get there, I'm now down to counting steps. I'm down to 50 steps, and then I've got to stop. And then 50 steps, and then I've got to stop. And we get to the next exit, and it's not the exit. And I now am having horrible visions that the only way I am going to get off of Mount Hood is by helicopter and being rescued. And as much as I'd like to be on the 6 o'clock news and famous, this is not the way I envision doing it. We start walking. I'm now down to 20 steps and stopping, 20 steps and stopping. And the next thing you know, these two men that had been leading the youth group from my daughter's church came back, and they stood on either side of me. They never touched me. All they said to me is, we know you're in trouble, and we know that you really could use some help getting out of here, and we made a mistake. They just stood beside me, and the combined energy of these two men allowed me to walk off of the mountain. I was like so proud of myself. My daughter is so embarrassed that I am her mother and that I did this to her on this snowshoeing trip. But I am so proud of myself that I did it. I now live in the Pacific Northwest, and my daughter and I got invited to friends of hers' house for dinner. And when the gentleman introduced himself, he says, you know, we've met once before. And I went, oh, you are my guardian angel. I remember you. And that man to this day will always be remembered as my guardian angel. And that I didn't have to be airlifted off of the mountain and make the 6 o'clock news or be driven through the airport in a wheelchair, which in those days would have been very embarrassing. So that's my adventure on Mount Hood.
Wow, what a story. Thank you for sharing, Jane. Wendy, are you ready?
Yeah, hi, Mr. Table Topics Master. Can I choose a slightly different topic?
Sure, go for it.
My first day in school. I was a very shy girl. I still remember the first day I was in school. I was a shy countryside girl. I remember I stepped into a very dark, bare room with a bunch of kids huddling on different, stools put together last minute. And the sky was very gray. It was snowing through the little window. And I feel like I was like in the sea of people, because kids are like sparrows. They were talking to each other, And my grandma dropped me off. And I held tight onto her because I had always been home and shielded. I was very, very shy. I remember and she left. I held on to this colorful handkerchief. I saw my tears drop down. I just felt very scared and lonely. And then the teacher came in and he asked everyone to introduce themselves and hold hands. A boy reached out but I was shy. I turned around, refused to hold him. And suddenly he slapped on my face. And that really made me very, very sad. And I almost want to quit school right away. So that was my first day. And I had always been shy. Later, when I grew up, it wasn't, I went to college, I came to the United States. It was easy for me to pick up, and I became a rocket scientist. But the shyness in me was very difficult to get rid of. I let it get into the way of my professional work. I just had hard time to connect with people. Then I joined Toastmasters. It's very effective because taking roles of VPEs, area director, it really get me out of my shell. It forced me to connect with people. I know many of you. I know we're very close. And even now, I'm division director and area director. Every year, I'm different because I keep going up and keep getting more open and easy to connect with people. So joining Toastmaster really fundamentally changes me from a shy countryside girl into an avid community volunteer. And it really improved every aspect of my life, made me a much happier, friendlier, and more fulfilling person. Back to you.
Thank you, Wendy. That was very inspiring. That is the end of today's table topics. I hope all of you embrace this technique and come up with more interesting topics in your life. Over to you, Lena.
Thank you, Vishal, for all the interesting questions and great table topic section. Let's move to our next section, that is evaluation section, where we will get feedback from our evaluator and we can learn from them. Our first evaluator is Vivek. Vivek is going to evaluate Hayu. Over to you, Vivek.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Vivek, you are muted.
Hayu, very nice speech as your icebreaker speech.
Thank you.
I wanted to commend you on a few things that I liked about your speech first. You had two overlapping stories. Your mother's relationship as one arc and how it affected your life, and your race competitor as a second relationship, second story. And those two stories were interwoven. And that was actually quite powerful in the way you presented it. I liked the way you used your body language when you talked about your mom with your crossed arms, that you're talking about her emotions. It was very kind of, it described them well. And the punchline is that now you're using Toastmasters as your antidepressant. That was also quite an interesting analogy. Things that you could do better. You were breathless even after ending the race. I think you were showing your breath while running, but even afterwards, you kept breathing heavily, and you could have stopped that. In terms of, this is an addition, vocal variety. You could have talked like your mom, in your mom's voice, or talked in your competitor's voice when he was coughing and then got better and thanked you. The final thing was, you felt a little bit stiff, a little bit uncomfortable with your feet placed. And maybe just having some smooth, slow movements around a room might actually show you're more comfortable. But in summary, wanted to say, two overlapping stories, strong body language with crossed arms, a good strong punchline for strengths, for improvements, being less breathless, showing more vocal variety, and more fluid motion. But overall, I was very impressed. And you ended with the word embracive, which again, pretty impressive to end with that in a prepared speech on your first icebreaker speech. So well done.
Thank you so much, Vivek. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Vivek, for this detailed evaluation. Our next speaker was Federica, and Federica's evaluator is Khushbu. Over to you, Khushbu.
Thank you. Everybody needs somebody sometimes. Well, who better than me to vouch for this? It is a Saturday early morning in India here. And the reason why I'm on this call is because Toastmaster Abhijit, aka my mentor, motivated me to be here, telling me, Khushbu, you need to practice evaluation. Thank you, Toastmaster Federica, for exemplifying and embracing motivation for all of us today. What I love the most about your speech, number one, there was preview, present, and recap. You followed Dal Carnegie's rule by first giving us a preview of what you will be talking about. You spoke about your project motivations. Then you presented the story. Now, the story also was a well-rounded story. There was conflict, why Anthony needed to be motivated, how did you motivate him, and the outcome. And then again, you concluded giving us a recap. This propelled me forward towards the end. Number two, Federica brought a lot of passion and conviction while she was delivering this. Because of the compelling tone, I could sense how authentically passionate she was about motivation. And this definitely drew me in, and I was infected to follow her passion. Great job doing that. Now, to elevate your speech a notch above, I have two recommendations for you, Federica. Toastmaster Federica, number one, that is use anaphora. What I mean by that is the foundational phrase in your speech was, we all need somebody sometimes. And that could have been repeated multiple times. You could have said that at the opening, began the speech with that. Also, when you spoke to Anthony about while you were motivating him, probably repeated then. Using it multiple times will help the audience retain it for long, because repetition helps with retention. And you will follow the same as Barack Obama or Winston Churchill do in their speeches. Number two, set the context. Toastmaster Federica, why is motivation so very important for you? Why is it so relevant to you? And why should it be so very relevant to us sitting in the audience? You could do that by asking us provocative questions. Are you all a Toastmaster? Have you ever been a part of an ExCom, executive committee? Have you ever felt a need to motivate someone? When you ask us these questions, that will make us an active listener and more receptive to your message. Because when you reveal a disconnection in someone's worldview, they will find a need to bridge that knowledge gap. What I loved the most about your speech, however, was the fact that you ended on a moment of wow by infusing a strong call to action. You actually told us giving us all a shared responsibility, and said that we all need to find someone to be motivated. That definitely helped me to take something away from this speech. All in all, I would say, great preview, present, recap, amazing, authentic passion. If you work a little on using anaphora and setting up the context, I'm sure you will keep motivating people amazingly well. Thank you.
Thank you, Khushbu, for these valuable tips. Our next speaker was Rishikesh, and Rishikesh evaluator is Hayu. Oh, sorry, again.
No
Kameli, over to
problem.
you. Sorry about that.
But what an opportunity to evaluate you this evening. You know, in the beginning of your speech, we all have that tendency to say Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and your granddaddy and your grandmama. All of that stuff, you don't really have to say that. That's just a bunch of fluff. Go right into life is a journey. And you might want to consider adding your title right into it, even though there's a lot of difficulties. We must keep going even when we don't want to. And then boom, go right into what your points or whatever it is that you want to say. I find you to be a very clear speaker. You're easily understood. You had great progression in your speech. You've had very little filler words. You're well prepared. And of course, you had the call to action. And you added in there a little bit about the membership stuff, so that was cool too. Now, there are some areas where you might consider what I'm saying to you, because I don't know whether you're going to cry or not, because some people cry if you give them too much information. So hopefully you're not going to beat me up or whatever it is. I live too far away from you probably. But in the beginning of your speech, you were looking up instead of looking at the camera, telling us that you were thinking about what you wanted to say. So even though you were well prepared, always look at us. Even you gotta fake it till you make it, brother. You know, they just look straight at us, and so that it doesn't look like you're kind of distracted. The other thing that will really help us connect to you is say the names of your wife, your children, your dad. Even if I say my dog went to the store, but if I say my dog Henry and I went to the store, somehow just by saying the name, it gives a little bit more connection. You went back to your hometown. Where's your hometown? I went back to my hometown, Oakland. If I say Oakland, if anybody's been there, it's like, oh yeah, I've been to Oakland, and boom, there's a connection between you and I because, hey, I've been there. I know what he's talking about. See what I'm saying? All right. And the other thing that you may consider are pauses, because you had very good word choices like shattered, rejected, heartbroken. But when you said that, you said, I was shattered, blah, blah, blah. I was heartbroken. Brother, man, if you're heartbroken, we need to feel that. I was heartbroken. I was rejected. I was shattered. You know, you may, I don't know, sometimes a little bit of acting may need to go into that, but slow down so that we can feel that with you. Because speaking really is all about connection. I want to connect to you. I want to know you. And the more that I know you, the more I'm going to gravitate to who you are. You said earlier that you lost your some kind of role in Toastmasters, but here you are speaking. So you're a brave guy, and you're obviously doing what your title of your speech wants us to do. So yeah, that's great. But if I could connect you even more, it's like, I'm just going to be eating you up. I'm going to be following you around, wondering where you're going to speak next. And that's what you know, I hope for you. And I also want to commend you on your honesty, because being an honest speaker is also what draws people in. And I'm sorry to hear about your father, but I'm so glad to see that you have kept on going. Good job, brother man. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Kameli. And my great apology to our general evaluator, Pramathesh. It's my fault that I took over your job. Will you please lead this evaluation section?
It's all right, Lena. Before I evaluate the evaluators, I would like to ask the reports from the timer. Is Ajay, can you please present your report?
Hi everyone.
I think I am the counter. Hariram is the timer.
Yeah, Hariram, can you present the timer report?
Okay, sure. Yeah. Hi. So I'll share my screen and I'll show. Everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first three entries are for the speeches. You took 4 minutes and 50 seconds, and Frederick took 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and then Rishikesh took 5 minutes and 45 seconds. And then we have table topics. You can see Camille took 1 minute 20 seconds. Jim took 2 minutes 20 seconds. Andrew finished in 2 minutes. And then Lipingma finished in 2 minutes 40 seconds. And then Lena took 3 minutes. And then Jane took 3 minutes 30 seconds. And then we have Wendy finished in 3 minutes 1 second. And then finally we have the evaluators. So we have Vivek, took 1 minute 41 seconds. And Kushbu took 3 minutes 25 seconds. And then Camille again, you took 3 minutes. So I'll share this in the chat so everyone can have a look.
Thank you. Ajay, can you share your report, please?
Thanks, General Evaluator Prathamesh. I loved the energy in the meeting and the way it was impressive. In fact, almost every one of us contributed to the meeting, be it the guests, the speakers, and also the role bearers. And what I find amazing is that very less usage of crutch words or pauses have been utilized in the entire duration of the meeting. I would like to start with Jim. Jim used a few crutch words, mostly when he was trying to think about what he's going to speak next. So he used crutch words like more. He repeated some phrases like I would, it. Apart from that, Andrew, Jane took, spoke, used the crutch word a couple of times. Vishal used 3 times. And also Hayu, the speaker, used twice. Once he arbitrarily stopped for a short period, he repeated twice. But apart from that, the speakers were amazing in that I didn't find any other instances where the crutch words had been used. During the TTM session, I found Wendy using once, Vivek used twice, and Camille, if I'm pronouncing it right, used during her evaluation. But overall, there was very less usage of crutch words, and I was struggling in the beginning whether I will be going to provide any report, or I'll just sit here, shut up for 2 minutes, and then give it back to Prathamesh. Finally, I got some instances, and over to you, Prathamesh.
Thank you. Anne-Marie, would you like to share your report?
Thank you, Mr. GE. Yes, tell me a story. That was our theme tonight. Excellent sentence structures. I really enjoyed the complexity of storytelling, particularly Wendy and Kishku. How many of you embraced the word of the day, took the challenge? Put your hands up. We are Toastmasters. We need to get the word of the day in every single speech. That's your challenge. Well done to Lena, Vishal, Vivek, Kushu, and Ayak. Does anybody else? Yes? We must try to embrace the word of the day. I was very impressed by the eloquence of speech, clear, concise evaluations. Well done to Andrew, Kushku, and Camille on that. You also seized the chance, many of you, to use vocabulary. I love elated, analogy, Andrew, and Kushku, attentively passionate in your vocabulary. Storytelling is a theme, and I wanted to be excited by some creative language. Jane, you are a guardian angel. I also heard kids are like sparrows. Wendy was out of her shell. I would like to hear more creative, stronger choice of imagery because we're storytelling. The quotes, however, blossom tonight. And Hayu, humans born to connect, not isolate. Everybody needs somebody, said Frederica. And Richie, keep walking if you love one is not with you. It's a good use of quotes. I was a little distracted by word endings. Beginning, when we mean beginning. Good evening. Frederica, we mean good evening. Table topic is table topics, Lena. And without pain, I think that was, I can't remember who said that, but remember it distracts from the quality of your speech if you do not finish the end of words. Pronunciations, your voice carries your message. It's not about your accent. I heard V instead of We. That's an old favorite, Lena. And do not kill the consonants. The, th. For that. It's for that. I heard this, for this. Motivate others. I didn't know there was a cow in the room. Motivate others. So please concentrate on that th in the pronunciation. Focus on these keywords that cause problems. Challenge yourself to get the th, not that or that. Slow down. I heard a lot of ums and ahs tonight. If you just pace yourself and slow, those words will just crystallize. Jargon busters. Camille, it was like, see what I'm saying? As Toastmasters, we elevate our speech. Inner, in thee, said Jim. So inner, in thee. Grammar gurus, please remember past and present tense. I became emotional, not I become emotional, Hayu. I switched lane, I switched lanes. When you complete the action, it's past tense. Always remember to use as few words as possible. What does make something the best? What makes something the best? And incomplete sentences is something that, as grammarians, always remember there's an a before a consonant. It was year, it was a year. It took new role, I took a new role. It was an and also. So just concentrate on using an a before a constants. Overall, I did love the way you embrace grammar tonight. Creative storytelling, just remember the word endings, pronunciations to elevate yourself to new heights. Over to you, Madam GE, Mr. GE.
Thank you, Emily. That was a very elaborate report, and we always love your reports. I hope everyone will try to embrace your advice. Now coming to my report, the meeting started at 8 a.m. here. I really liked the way Lena started the meeting, and she introduced the theme in a very good way, and she also allowed the role players to describe their role, especially when Hariram was struggling. She helped her. That was a very good thing. Now coming to the evaluations, Vivek, I really liked your evaluation, and uh, you mentioned the uh, gave the feedback in a very good way, and I hope it will uh, encourage Hayo to speak better. He had a very profound message, and as because it was his first speech, as per the Toastmaster tradition, we should give a round of applause uh, after his speech. So, as a Toastmaster, you should start uh, encourage everyone to give a big round of applause as as a gesture, so that he gets encouraged. Coming to Khushbu Modi, you are a very good evaluator. You started with a very good energy, and you gave a very important feedback, that is repetition helps retention. I really like that a part of the evaluation, because it is the core message that is very important, and that has to be repeated throughout the speech. And your second recommendation was also great, that is why motivation is important. So I really like that, those two recommendations. You I think that we should all embrace this idea and how we deliver our speech. Coming to Camille, how do I pronounce your name? Is it Camille or Camille?
It's Camille.
Okay, Camille. Okay, thank you. So I really like the humor in your evaluation. It really helps remember the points that you are trying to make. Like when you started by saying that uh, welcoming the Toastmaster guest and everything, you did it so well that sometimes when we give this suggestion, the speaker might get offended. But the way you presented it, it was very, it is easy to absorb that idea. And your recommendations were also very good. The way you suggested the pauses and how to take the pauses, that was very good. Now coming to Vivek, who was the table topic master, I really like the idea in your table topics. It allowed us to get the essence of storytelling. Someone, I think it was Andrea, who said just before the meeting that storytelling is the jelly and not the toast. And your table topic session brought out that essence in the table topic session. Everyone had a story to tell. Everyone shared it beautifully. I like the, especially where Wendy, the way she expressed her story. I felt the emotion. Then there was Andrew. He told about the best sandwich. The way he spoke about it, I felt that I was having that sandwich. And there was Jane, who was speaking about her adventure. It was very well done. Now I am coming to the uh, other rules, that is the timer. I have just one recommendation, that is uh, while the speaker is speaking, I would request him to give hand raise gesture, so that his screen is focused in the and the speaker is able to see his screen. Because I saw that a lot of speakers were out of like speak more than the allocated time. It was because they were not able to see that timer screen. That is the only recommendation to him. And Ajay, you did a fabulous job as an counter. So I have already spoken about Anne Mary. So that's my report from for today. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pramadesh, for all these detailed reports. And here we are at the end of our meeting. But before going to end this meeting, I would like to know from our guests if anybody wants to share their experience here. How do you like this meeting? What do you think about it? Anybody would like to share their thoughts? Yes, Andrew, please.
This is my second meeting, and I've been very impressed by the storytelling. I've incorporated vocal variety into my thoughts when I think about how I will present things and how I will talk about them. So I've learned a lot in just a very short period of time, and I'm grateful that you guys, some people take their Saturday morning and some people take their Friday night to do this. This is a special group of people, and thank you for letting me come a second time. Back to you.
Thank you, Andrew. And yeah, Mevin
Yes.
wants to talk. Yes.
Yes, my dear Lina, and thank you, Abhijit, for your regular invite. I would like to give a group hug to all of you because today, the stories that you shared, oh my gosh, were straight from the heart. And for me, I'm not impressed by intellectual memorization recitation. I like people, I can see their pain in their eyes when they deliver. Today, you were authentic, you were real. I think they should have a trophy for all of you today, huh? What you think? What you think? Yes. So speak from the heart. It makes you so lovable, admirable, and more than anything, remarkable speakers. Go for it. I love you from Manila. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Thank you very much. And our next, okay, Andrea, right? Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is my first night with the meeting, and the speeches were amazing, as well as the table topics, responses. They were inspiring, and it's a really good forum to practice your public speaking and become a better storytelling teller, as because that's what it's all about. It's about stories, and when you share those stories, to connect with your audience and bring them into the environment or whatever it is, that they can have those takeaway nuggets that he or she can implement into their lives. So it was amazing. I'm impressed. It was well organized, particularly with the speakers and table topics. It's very, very unique. So congratulations, and looking forward to hearing more of those stories. Great job.
Thank you very much. We really like you all to visit us again. We would like to see you all next week as well. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I would like to pass this mic to our president, Rishikesh.
Thank you, Lina. Dear all, I hope you have all enjoyed today's meeting, and we are looking forward for your attendance in next meeting as well. I officially adjourn today's meeting, and we are now open for normal chit chat.
Thank you so much.